So, what is it that all living things have in common? How do we distinguish between living and non living? These eight things we call the characteristics of life. To put them in a list, the eight characteristics of life are made of one or more cells, displays organization, grows and develops, reproduces, responds to stimuli, requires ATP for energy, maintains homeostasis, and has adaptations that have evolved over time. So made of one or more cells. This is the one feature that is absolutely only true of living things and never true of non living things. It would be the only thing on our list had we known about cells at the time we were trying to come up with ways to distinguish between living and non living things. But the microscope was invented relatively late in the development of this understanding. And so we have seven other characteristics to go along with it. But made of one or more cells is a key feature of life. So displays organization. This is a little different than we normally think about organization. It's not about being neat and orderly. It's about how living organisms are put together in very specific ways. So that if I say lion, horse, whale, bird, tree, or even human, you have an idea of what those look like because you know what their body plans are. You know what you would expect to see in that living organism. That's not true if we give you examples of things that are non living. There are many different kinds of rocks, for example, many ways you could represent water. Living things have distinct body plans. We also know that living things grow and develop. When they are first brought into the world, they look much different than the adult versions of many of them. This includes getting bigger and developing new abilities, growth, and development. Living things have the ability to reproduce. We know that a seed is the way that plants reproduce, many plants anyway. This one grows into a marigold, and that marigold spends much of its life building new seeds so that new marigold plants will arrive. Living organisms have the ability to respond to stimuli. When you get the stimuli of an ambulance and its siren behind you, you pull over and let them pass. We know that living organisms require food, oxygen, and water. The way we get food is different for different organisms, but that most of that food and all of that oxygen is used for that organism to make the energy molecule ATP. And living organisms need ATP for energy to do what they need to be done to stay alive. Another thing that living organisms do is maintain homeostasis. This means to maintain a balance of something that's required for that organism to be alive. Blood sugar, body temperature, blood pressure, oxygen levels, those are just a few of the things that living organisms are able to keep within a narrow range. Organisms also have adaptations that have evolved over time. We can think of the ears of a rabbit, the trunk of an elephant, the long legs of a flamingo, or the keen eyesight of an eagle. All of these things help these organisms better survive in their environment, and they are displayed by all of the members of the species. They take hundreds of thousands of years to evolve, but once they do, the organisms take well advantage of them. And so, the eight characteristics of life are being made of one or more cells, displaying organization, growing and developing, reproducing, responding to stimuli, requiring ATP for energy, maintaining homeostasis, and having adaptations that evolved over time.